What's going on, everyone? So this is going to be a Sidney Prescott-led film, which means that there is a very real chance that Ghostface's motive is kind of centered and focused around Sidney Prescott. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if I necessarily want that. And I know, just for, argument's sake, right? I'm somebody that has wanted to move off of Sidney. I've been very open and public about that. Love Sidney, grew up with Sidney, right? Big Sidney person. She is the final girl, but I want this franchise to continue to go on more than anything. And at some point, you're going to kind of run that dry. And so I understand, given the circumstances and the situation leading into Scream 7, with the Melissa Barrera thing and then Jenna Ortega's departure and everything, you kind of were put in a rock and a hard place to where it's like, okay, do you take the risk of going completely new and fresh and maybe not being able to attract what you need to attract? Or do you play it safe, bring in Sidney Prescott and have her be the focus again? Okay, fine. You got me on board. I'm with it. Let's do it. Sidney Prescott, let's go. Right? Good storytelling, good acting, good execution, good delivery, right? Good directing, and we could be in business, right? But I don't know if I want the motive itself necessarily to be solely Sidney focused, right? You can have a motive want to incorporate her, right? But Scream 5, for example, right? Sidney was just kind of like an add-on. It was like, oh man, we're trying to kind of replicate this. And then she just showed up. This is great type thing, right? Obviously, I don't think that that's the route that they're going to go for this upcoming Scream film, but I'm okay with it being something of, maybe it's Tatum oriented, but because Sidney's the mom, it's like, hey, here we go, right? And maybe they find out, maybe they don't know Sidney is Sidney Prescott, right? Which, I don't know, because she's this big celebrity, but I don't know, there's a million ways that they can kind of go about this and approach it, but at the end of the day, I really want them to kind of keep it as original and fresh as possible. My biggest problem is, how many people want Sidney dead? How many people that can get close enough to Sidney want Sidney dead? How many brothers, cousins, nephews, uncles are coming out of the woodworks to try to go and take out Sidney, right? It's I understand if it's complete strangers and all that stuff, but then why would they have a real motive for Sidney Prescott? Right? Yes, you can maybe do something where it's Ghostface killed my dad, and because Ghostface never would have been a thing if it wasn't for you type thing. And you just have this kind of craziness, right? And it directly ties to Sidney, but it's not, right? Especially now that we know that there are Ghostface attacks all over the place. And how do we know this? Well, Kirby told us in Scream 6. Remember, she was tracking a Ghostface, and that's what she specializes in, Ghostface attacks, right? And Ghostface and capturing and solving those mysteries, right? So we know there's Ghostface all over the place. So, could you maybe have something where it's somebody that I hate Sidney Prescott because my, Sidney's father was, or my father was killed because of Sidney, right? And it's just kind of indirectly her. It's kind of indirectly responsible for her. I mean, maybe that's the route that they go, but I'd rather it just kind of either just be pure insanity, pure crazy reason, or just a grand scheme, right? If they lean into the cult route, say they go the full cult route, full-fledged cult route, fine, right? Do that. It doesn't need to be directly tied to Sidney. Right? You have this cult. Why are they going after Sidney? Why are they killing Sidney? It could be as simple as just it's Sidney Prescott. Right? There doesn't need to be some crazy motivation or whatever, or this, I've always wanted her dead. No, it's man, you have some young cult members that want to earn their stripes and get up the rankings quick enough, right? I don't want to have to kill 40 people to be this rank, right? But if I kill Sidney Prescott, they might have me, I might be running the joint, right? Sidney is the white whale for any Ghostface, right? Sidney is the one that, every Ghostface would want to kill if they had the chance, right? Because it's Sidney Prescott. I'd rather, me personally, lean towards that than try to make and come up with some convoluted rhyme, reason, and explanation for why Sidney Prescott is being targeted and attacked, right? I'd rather it, like I said, I'd rather it even just be incidental, right? Ghostface is after somebody else entirely. Ghostface is maybe after Tatum or something like that, and just has no like doesn't even realize Sidney's there or whatever. And then, ultimately they find out like, that's Sidney Prescott, right? Hold on a minute, time out, right? Like we might be able to do something here, right? Like we have a chance to take out Sidney Prescott, and maybe then they kind of change course a little bit, pivot, like, hey, let's see the plan through, let's execute the plan, let's take these people out. But we also have a chance to take out Sidney, right? It was kind of, in many ways, it's kind of what Scream 5 was, right? Where it was like, Richie wanted to turn Sam into the new Sidney, right? They wanted to bring the movies back and do all this stuff, right? And Sidney showing up kind of was like, oh, wait a minute, time out. Hang on. Not only can we do our plan and execute what we were going to execute, but now we can get Sidney and Gail involved and kind of go this new direction too, and really kind of, set the tone, really start to do stuff. And then you see them take out Doohy and all that. Like, so it just, I'd rather that approach than them trying to spin and find some, my biggest fear is they try to do a Scream 3 2.0. And some of you might think like, oh, they're not going to do that again. Like they did 96 and Scream 2 again, right? Like, so I do have the concern that like, hey, it's going to be some, Roman had a brother. Like, oh my God, please don't do that for my sanity. please don't do something where it's like Roman's brother, right? Like, it's just, oh my God. The sad thing is like, as much as I'm laughing and joking about it, like, I can actually see that happening. I can see that being a thing, right? Because again, they did it with 96 and Scream 2. So hopefully that's not something that we see happen again. But I digress, right? Point is I'm game for you to do Sidney, right? I just don't want the motive to be solely based on Sidney, right? I'd like there to be other reasons, ulterior motives, whatever, right? Like, I don't want something where it's like, the brother's cousin's nephew, like, right? Like Sidney's daughter's boyfriend was Sidney's best friend back in ninth grade in elementary school and always loved her. And, but like, it's just like, okay. And start getting too convoluted and too crazy. And, to me, keep it simple. Let's keep it simplistic, keep it like focused and lined. But that's my thoughts and that's my feelings on it. So as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you think that the motive should be about Sidney? Do you think like, no, don't make it about Sidney? However you feel, either way, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else me not. We enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.